guys, it's Train Bog here, and I've been wanting to make this video for a little bit, but I've been thinking about it, especially because I've seen a lot of, lately, there's been a lot of people who have been trying to go back to MK11, and are claiming, oh, this game is not as bad as we thought it was, and all that. I'm not going to put up with MK11 Apologia. This is not the video talking about that, though. I'm going to do a different video about that. But I do want to make a video about MK1 and about how worthy of criticism on the gameplay front is really. My problem here is I don't think there's any legitimate criticism to make about the game on the gameplay front. None. Zero. Now, of course, if it comes down to preference, right? If it comes down to preference, that's completely fine. However, the idea that this is somehow like the easiest NRS game, the most carried NRS game, the scrubbiest one, like anything that is along those lines, I'm sorry, guys, it's not a matter of perception, it's truth. This game is the highest skilled MK game of the NRS era. If you are in denial of that, you are incorrect, my friend. You are so incorrect, it's not even funny. Now, everyone knows, I gotta change a skin, I think. Everyone knows that, like, I kind of been a defender of this game against the odds anyway. And there are a lot of people who are, like, they're genuinely shocked that I will defend this game, but I will defend this game. I think this is the best, since becoming NRS, I think this is the best MK NRS has ever made. By far. And by best, I'm talking about from a competitive perspective. Like, you're invested in, like, getting good at it. And how much of the game rewards you for investments, and how much, and, like, how, big or large the disparities between characters on the balance front are when it comes to that kind of stuff, right? I don't think that there are any legitimate criticisms to be made at this game. So why am I saying this, right? Why am I having such an extreme opinion that's so definitive? Because people know I usually don't make those kinds of declarations. Most of it comes down to that I would say 80 to 90% of the criticism that was levied at this game from a gameplay standpoint is it's wrong on a factual level. It's like people do not understand how it works, or they've never learned how to play the game at a truly high level. The player base of this game, and the player base of NRS games is lazy as a whole, okay? But people have been so lazy about not wanting to push this game. And by push, I mean it sounds what it means what it sounds like, right? I'm talking about trying to figure out the game to the maximum extent. And this really annoys me when it comes to things like the cameo system. This idea that the cameo system is like a quote-unquote failure or something. Stupid criticisms like the idea that up block is like a band-aid solution or is pointless. Like all of these things are factually incorrect and can only be the result of either you're salty that you lose consistently in this game because it is very Injustice 2 in the sense that you are very rewarded for being fundamentally good and for having a lot of character and cameo nuance knowledge. You are very rewarded for that in this game. And that's part of it. Like, you cannot just pick a team and be a forever main of that team. You have to use the cameo system like you would a variation system, which is exactly what it is. It's not Like, people who call this game a tag game are stupid. This is not a tag game. This is a game with universal variations. That's what the cameo system is. And just because the game has some moves that function independently of your character doesn't make it a tag game. As a matter of fact, if you count the summon moves, right, moves like this, where you are frozen and you do a move using your cameo, versus what an ambush is, the ambushes are the extreme minority. This is not a tag game. It's never been a tag game. Anyone who's trying to make comparisons to it on being a tag game is being, like, facetious. They're being ridiculous. That really, really comes to a head for me. With this idea that the cameo system is shallow, that there's no use in using the different cameos. Like, you can use so many things in this game to synergize with characters, to counterpick certain cameo matchups, or just to strengthen what is good about you as a fighting game player. MK1, of all three NRS MKs, is the top of... Well, no, I guess it's 4. Right, yeah, no, it's 4. So out of all 4 NRS MKs, so 9x 11 of this is the game that facilitates player expression that is competition viable the absolute most. If you disagree with this, you're free to disagree with it, and but I would like to know what your reasons are, because I guarantee you your reasoning is going to be something I can debunk within a couple of minutes. Like, either logically, or I can go right in the lab and show how ridiculous those complaints are. So, it's, I've been sitting on this opinion for a while, because, like, I don't want to deal with the insufferable NRS community. And this is one thing I gotta say, okay? We're actually gonna play some ranked while I do this video. I'm just gonna talk with gameplay in the background to keep you guys entertained while I ramble about this. I like... How do I put this? I unfortunately contributed to a culture of scrubbitry when I made my MK11 content. I did. Not that my criticisms of the game were illegitimate, but I kind of fell into this, like everything with the game was trash. I just could not assess things honestly, and this weakened my criticisms of MK11 as being a shitty fighting game, because I would complain about things that were completely reasonable, but by the time I had hit, like, the peak of my salt with that game, I was not a good critic at all. I should have done better. I should have been able to see the forest from trees better, but I just could not at the time. But unfortunately, it attracted a lot of the most unbearable types of people in the gaming community and in the NRS community. And what I ended up with was partially a fan base that wants me to, like, validate or reaffirm their stupid complaints. And I'm not going to do that. This is a legitimately good fighting game. It's not just a good NRS game, it's a good fighting game. It's like it is the most legitimate, like, fighting game that they've ever made, in my opinion. And I'm serious about that, like... let's see, I'll try and see, like... Wow, yeah, that's cool. But, especially I think the cameo system. I think the cameo system is a genius idea.
Center mass.
As far as like when it comes to the ideas that NRS has tried over the years, like obviously I think all of us would agree, like no one thought that the variation system was a bad idea when the concept first came into being with MKX, right? The thing that was the problem with the game was how the variations were balanced, right? And then they tried it again with MK11 on a more parsed out level because they introduced the custom variations where it was just like everyone had less tools, and instead they went the route of, well, maybe if we trim down the movesets, then the variations will be more balanced against each other, right? And that didn't work either, right? And so the cameo system is like the logical conclusion to an idea like cameos. That being, you make it universal, right? You make it universal. That's what you do. And that is, if you're gonna do something like the variation system, that is how you do it. You have to make it universal. So that's a big deal in this game, is that your variations are universal, and that adds a lot of complexity and diversity to the game. Well, it would if the NRS player base actually tried, right? Problem is, NRS players, I have said this forever, and yes, I know, it is an elitist mindset, but it is not wrong to say that NRS players are not real fighting game players. They're just not. They don't value the things that people are attracted to about fighting games for most people. They just don't value these things. So that's a thing that like is hard to navigate, right? We still have a player base that thinks zoning is like not only, you know, cheap, like, which is alone is like a mindset that is like 10 years, 15 years behind the times. The idea that zoning is like a scrubby playstyle. The fact that the average MK player thinks that way, but like the average Street Fighter player doesn't, and neither does for anyone else, that is proof that like NRS players are like, they're like cavemen, but they're definitely stupid cavemen, right? Now, if you want to make the argument that some cameos and shit like that are badly designed, we can do that, because obviously every game's gonna have their balance issue, right?
All right, that might be over.
But
brutality.
There is not a single balance issue in MK1 that is remotely on the verge of even any of the disparities or problems with MK11. There's just not. If you really think so, then you're impossible to please, and you will think every fighting game is like a scrub carrying game. Well, I'm being so serious about this. If you really think that this game is for scrubs, you cannot be pleased. And you're like a stupid idiot. You should shut the fuck up then. Just stop playing fighting games, please. Like, please save me and the rest of the world. Like, please just like spare us having to listen to you complain. Please, just go away. I'm being so serious when I say this. Like, I have no respect for you.
Man, you're shit.
I think all your
Round
opinions are
two.
garbage. Just shut the fuck
It's
up.
a grab. It's a grab. It's a grab.
Of course, I'm losing because I'm trying to talk here at the same time. Okay, maybe I won't play at the same time that I'm talking here, because I'm gonna under-deliver on both ends. Anyway, I just, I not only disagree, I just think it's provably false that this game is for scrubs, or that this game has serious problems. So, like, an example I want to talk about that drives me off the fucking wall, like, every time I hear this point from anybody, I have to question if they know how to, like, feed themselves.
The tea house.
And we're going to talk about up blocking, okay? There are two criticisms that are made about up block in this game. And one is the idea that it is pointless in that it is a band-aid solution, and it's obviously just not true because we know anti-airs in this game are very good, and they are very rewarding. And on top of that, you have an extra mechanic or an extra layer added to that in this game through the down 2 cancels. And on top of that, you have up block, right? So the idea behind up block is that it is a riskier but higher reward anti-air, right? That's the idea. It is a player expression / complexity option. The idea that this is somehow a band-aid solution to bad anti-airs in a game with like MK9 tier anti-air jabs and the like all over the place is stupid. You're factually wrong if you believe this. I'm sorry. Like, this is not a subjective thing. This is not something that where you can be allowed to have your opinion. I mean, you can have your opinion, but you're just wrong. You can either anti-air the traditional way, you can down 2, which is more reliable as far as like a hitbox goes, but less reward. And then you get the biggest reward, which is up block, because you get your maximum, like, you get maximum damage punished whenever you up block. Okay? This is nothing but something that adds to the complexity of the game. It adds to the ability for players to express themselves. You might be a guy where you just want to go with down 2s or like stand 1s for anti-airing purposes. Or you might want to be someone who goes more for broke when people jump. You want to up block. That is all there is to it here. Okay? The idea that this is somehow covering for the deficiencies of the anti-airing to anyone who actually plays the game, like, you have a sub, you're in like double-digit IQ range. Sorry. That's how it is. You're stupid. You are stupid beyond comprehension. And I'm sorry for the harsh language, but I had no other way to put that, and I just can't tolerate the slander that this game gets anymore. The slander it gets is like, it's all comes from a place of ignorance. There is literally, in my opinion, there is just not a single legitimate piece of gameplay criticism to make about this game. At least nothing that, you know, wouldn't apply to every other game, right? The top tiers are annoying. Of course they're going to be annoying. That's how top tiers go, right? Of course something that's meta might be annoying, but that's how it's going to be when something is meta, you know? At the very least, this game is not, like, committing any sins that any other fighting game isn't. But this idea that the game is uniquely bad or uniquely warped in some way is, yeah, it's like a low IQ opinion. The only people that should be, like, saying this now are drones who do nothing but watch, like, Mike Hollow or watch, like, I don't know, what's that guy's name? Loose Streets, who know nothing about fighting games. Not really. Not really at like the highest of the highest level, and don't understand that the things they are complaining about are skill issues or fundamental issues, not a single thing to do with the game itself. Now, did the game launch with a really bad meta at launch? Yeah. Cyrax Raiden, Cyrax Johnny was like, it was dog shit. It should never have been allowed to pass the QA testing phase. Okay, but it happened. The game launched that way. It eventually got fixed, right? Fine. But really beyond that, there has not been a meta that has been as anywhere near as corrosive or toxic as that. Not really. People complain about Striker, but I'm going to tell you the real reason people don't like Striker and didn't like Striker at his prime is because Striker rewards people for having good fundamental defense, and that's all it's about. That is all it's about. Like, you're not getting robbed by Striker. You are always getting outplayed. Sorry. Just because you get to block for like 20 frames longer than you would have, not even a full second, but 20 frames longer, just because like you're a fucking idiot that you feel like you can't play the game because you can't mash buttons and make things happen for literally 20 more frames, not even like a second, that's not a problem with the game. That's a problem with you. That's a problem with your character, and it's a problem with your discipline. Sorry. That's just how it is. Now, if you are someone who is a viewer of mine, and you truly believe that you can argue that this game is bad as a fighting game, you are more than welcome to present those arguments to me in the comments. And maybe if I get enough traction on it or enough comments, maybe I will make a video responding to those comments. But I really am being serious here. At this point, any complaint about the game is totally subjective. But to make the case this is somehow a scrubby game or a game that rewards people with lower skill levels than you, it does not do that. You're just bad. It's a skill issue. It's always going to be a skill issue. You can try to, beg for God himself to make that not the case. It's always going to be a skill issue. There's no God coming for you to save you from yourself. It's a skill issue. I just wanted to make this rant. I'm just done. I'm done. I'm tired of the ways that people talk shit about this game while they go back to MK1 of all things. A fighting game literally designed from the ground up to make the worst player on level with the better one. And hear people say that that's the better game. It's just crazy to me. It is so crazy to me. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say, guys. But let me know what you guys think. I want comments, obviously. And if you think you can prove me wrong, I dare you to prove me wrong. Please do. Please do. Either through argument or through literal example in, the lab or something. But as far as I'm concerned, this version of the game, the MK1 critics have no leg to stand on it. And mostly they never did, but especially now they don't. Anyway, I'll catch you guys later. Let me know what you guys think. I just had to get that out.